guys and welcome. Today we're going to make a beautiful bracelet out of these gorgeous green Aventurine beads. They're like a really smoky ice green colour, and then we're going to team it with this beautiful crystal connector to match, and then we're going to make a pair of matching earrings. So I'm using beading wire today, and I always secure it at one end. So this is like a bulldog clip, but you can get bead stoppers that are like a loopy spring that'll hold your beads on. So what I want to do is secure it to the connector first, and then we'll work from one side. So I'm just going to get a crimp bead, put my glasses on, so the crimp bead will secure it to the connector for us. So just make sure the wires aren't crossed before I crimp it. And then with the crimping tool, you'll see that there's a couple. I go the first one, then I go the flat one, and then I turn the crimp bead round, and then I use the third section. So secure it first, so it secures either side of the wire. And then I use the flat one just to secure it even more, if you can see that. And then we turn the crimp bead and use that front one and put it together. So you'll get like a bead type effect. Now you can put a crimp cover over the top of that. I don't currently have any gold ones, so I'm going to leave it until, because you can always do it later on, regardless of, you know, if it's a month down the track or whatever. It'll just go over the top of that and then secure around like another little round bead, but that one doesn't look too bad. So we no longer need our stopper, because the connector is going to be like our bead stopper. Let's just thread a few on there. So you make this, if you're making it for yourself, you make it to suit whatever size wrist you are. So I'm making this one around the 7.5 inch today, and this one will be going in my Etsy shop, and I'll put a link down the bottom in the description for you guys if you're interested. And then I just cut the wire off where it's sticking out of the bead a little bit, because the next bead I put on, it's going to go halfway through the bead, so you won't get any wire ends sticking out. So it's a little bit of a beading trick. See, so you won't have it sticking out anyway. So we'll put a few on and then we'll measure it. I'm just going to measure it on my Tim Holtz glass mat that's already on my table. It has inches on it. So you also want to allow for a jump ring and the the parrot clasp the other side too when you're doing your measuring. Okay, let's give that a measure and see. Right, we can put about another 3 on, I think. You can also wrap it around your wrist too. Like I said, if you're making it for yourself, then you'll make to measure. Or get somebody else to help you when you're putting it around your wrist. So if we went around our wrist, we know that it's still got a few more beads to go. That one there. So now we want to secure it to our parrot clip. So a parrot clip looks like that. Once again, getting a crimp cover, sorry, a crimp bead. No, I'll do plain. I was going to put some gold spaces in there, but I'm going to stay with the plain, I think, because we're going to highlight it with a charm. A beautiful matching charm. Now when we do the other side, we need to secure it back through a couple of beads here. I always use 3 beads for that. So I'll put it through the 3 beads, and I've got my crimp bead still in my fingers here at the end, whereas I know the size of this crimp bead won't go through the whole size in the bead, but if you're working with a bead that's got a bigger hole in it, you really have to be mindful that you don't lose your crimp bead into the bead. You can retrieve it, but it's a bit of an effort. Then you just make sure you've got no gaps there. You do want a little bit of play when crimping your bead. So once again, that middle slot, and then the flat one like that, and then you turn the crimp tool around and you put it together like that, and then you get your cutters, wire cutters, and just trim it off. So now we've got our clasp here. We want to put a ring on the other end, and we want to put some charms on. So I've got this beautiful matching, I don't know whether you can see it on my hand, beautiful matching charm. It's sort of like a glass, this one, and I think we'll do a beautiful little gold coin charm as well, just to dangle them both off the side there. And then we've got a jump ring here that we're going to thread through that charm and then through the end, and this, by going a bit bigger ring here, you'll have it to put your parrot clip on, and it's quite strong. So you twist it back until you hear a click, and you can see that there's no gap. If there was a gap, you could turn it like that and secure it a little bit more, but that one's not needed. And now we're just going to get a smaller little jump ring. Now these are called unsoldered jump rings because you can see that they're open. Never open one that way, always twist it to the side, otherwise you'll damage the integrity of the jump ring. It just weakens it. So we want to grab our charm. We want to try and make sure that it's going to be up the right way. Same with that one, back until you hear a click like that. You've got your charms off the end, and then this is your ring here. So to do it up, you're simply going to hook in to there. Now if you wanted, you could also put an extended chain on that, but that's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. So we'll put that one down there, and let's make some matching earrings. So I've actually got some connector ear stud findings. So these are really, really pretty. So, you know, we've got a loop down here to hang some beads off, and they're a stud. So they actually come like that, and I do have them in my shop. So I'll put a link down the bottom as well. You can get them in silver, black, lots of different shapes, colors, etc. So let's hang a couple of beads off that one. So what we'll need is a head pin. So head pins, they're a pin like that, and they've got a flat head on them, so that's like a bead stopper on that. We want some little spacer beads just to add a little bit of gold into our earrings down where the beads are. Just going to go a shorter one. See how we go with that. Beautiful. So we'll pop a bead on the end, then I'll put a spacer bead in the middle, so it's just like a little washer really, but it just adds a little bit of gold highlight. Another bead on there. Now let's have a look how much. We might go a 3 bead, I think, and it's up to you as to how long you want the earrings, but you want a little bit of a dangle. Now I'm going to put another spacer on there, and the reason for that is when I do my loop I will hide the end of the wire in there. Now rule of thumb, I like about a finger space. I will cut that off because I know that roughly is how much I've got to play with my loop, and I always put my finger over there for the end that we cut off so it doesn't go flying. So that's a little bit of a trick because I have trodden on some wire off cuts in the past before the vacuum cleaner could get to it, and they're really not, it's really not a pleasant experience. So then we just loop it around and it just tidies it off because the end's going down into the hole of that spacer bead. Alright, let's do the other one. So once again, bead on there, spacer, bead, spacer. And you can also get some bead caps that are beautiful too. They sort of hug the bead and add a little bit more decoration. But I actually wanted to feature the tops of these earrings, so I didn't use them. I went with the spacer beads instead. So keeping those beads tight, finger measurement again, or actually it's just under a finger measurement. Finger on the top so it doesn't go flying. Actually, I might cut a bit more off that. And then just tuck it in. And sometimes you've got to maneuver it a little bit to straighten it up and tuck it in. Lovely. And now we just get a jump ring and we attach those to the earring connectors. So just with your flat nose pliers, through the loop we've made, through the earring, just going to tighten that up. Oops, went too far. That's one earring done. Now these come like this already that far open. You don't always get that. So if they're closed but they're still unsoldered, you just get two pairs of pliers, and you can, if you don't have too flat nose, you can use your round nose like this and just do it on an angle and then twist it. I actually like to work with the flat nose, and I do a lot of jump rings, so it warrants having the second set of pliers. You'll be surprised how often that you do use it. But if you're just starting out, then definitely just use your round nose. And that's the earrings, guys. If I hold that up like that. Absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got our matching bracelet as well, but just a really, really pretty bead, that one. Really, really pretty bead, and will go with a lot. So, and it's nice to have a little touch of gold. I don't do a lot with gold, but it's nice to have a little touch of gold in your jewelry collection, especially if you're going out of a night. It just adds a little bit of extra something there. But thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you got inspired to drag your beads out and have a go. Definitely, if you want to get some of these stud connectors, then that's what you search for: earring finding stud connectors or earring finding connectors, and you should be able to get a whole range of those. But thanks heaps, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.